Hello and welcome to YV at Home. This episode is all about the Young Voices Power in Me project with our special guest, who's a music teacher, a mum and a songwriter. Please welcome Rebecca Lawrence. Hi, Rebecca.
Hello there. Hello from Jersey.
Hello from London. How are you doing?
Really good.
Awesome. Well, if you consider the facts that Young Voices is the largest children's choir concert series in the world and the Guinness World Record holder for the world's largest simultaneous sing, then it makes absolute sense that Young Voices is inviting children, teachers, parents from all over the world to join together on June 2nd, 2020 for a global sing-along to a brilliant song that you wrote, Rebecca, called The Power in Me. How do you feel about that?
It blows me away. It's an amazing honour to have them choose that song. I mean, there are thousands of incredible songs that could have been chosen, and I just feel really lucky. It's one of those things where 10 years ago I wrote the song and it has just grown and grown and grown, and it seems to pop up all over the place, and it's just one of those wonderful things. You don't know you're going to write something special at the time. It just sort of blossoms after, and it's very exciting.
So I'm guessing you've been musical from an early age, but did you always want to be a songwriter and a composer?
I had the most incredible music teacher at primary school called Mrs. LaCornew, and I think you always remember those amazing teachers that really inspire you. And I remember she had very bad arthritis, and she used to play the piano with these really sore hands, and she'd sing and she'd play and she'd enthuse us, and she was just such an inspirational lady, and she just made it fun, she made it matter, and she seemed to make us want to sing from inside ourselves. And I think that's what I've always loved, and I always wanted to be a teacher in some way. And although I headed through the normal primary school teaching, I suddenly found that I could teach music, and that became my passion. And whilst I was doing that, my very first job, I needed to write a piece of music, and I had a little rummage around in the cupboards, and I found that first piece of music.
Wow.
Yes, and it's literally on this little scrap of paper. I wrote out some words for a little girl to sing,
Right.
Peter Pan, and I don't have A-level music, I don't have all those big honours and things. I sort of found a scrap of manuscript, and I just basically worked out the tune. There's not even a bar line, there's not even any rhythms. I just got the tune into my head because I felt at that time that I needed to write it down.
Right.
Since then, I've worked out that if I've got a tune in my head and it's a good one, it's going to stay there.
Right.
I don't have to worry now so much, but it's a strange process, that's for sure.
Fabulous. And so, you know, sometimes I guess maybe the tune comes first and then you add some words to it, or you've got some words going around in your head and you think, let's put a tune to that. For you, which one would you say kind of happens most, the tune or the words?
That is a really interesting question. And I don't think I'm unique in this, that by saying that they come at the same time.
Wow.
For me, they come exactly at the same time. So I will get part of the song secure because the music has to follow the words.
Right.
The words flow with the music. And once I've secured one chorus, I have to make all the rest of the words match that tune then. But there's one solid part, like the sort of nugget in the middle, that's really secure. And if this is the right time, I found this, which is the original scrap. I've got lots of scraps of paper.
I love that you keep them all.
Yeah, I know, I can't believe I did. So I found it, and if you notice, the nugget is the chorus. So the chorus came first, and I didn't make a single change to it. It just happened like that.
Wow.
As I wrote the verses, little changes come in. And you see, for example, if you know the song, it says, when the race is nearly done and I feel I can't go on. That's normal. Then I wrote, I know I need to find more in myself. Nah, figure that out. I know I can do more. Nah. I can do something about it. Nah. And then the last change was, I know I can do something about it.
Very positive.
Suddenly that became fixed in it. And again, line after line is lots and lots of different changes. And in fact, I found, I don't know if you can see, it says here, switch it on, switch it on. So I must have been thinking, plug in your power.
Right.
That idea got into my head, but of course, didn't get into the final song.
Yes, indeed.
So
that's amazing. I love that you have the original piece, you know, that you wrote and the way it developed, which just is so great to sort of see it taking root, you know. And I just love the fact that you were sort of showing us the first piece that you wrote, but you've come on leaps and bounds since then. So, you know, I'm wondering if in the songs that you write now, is it difficult to pass it on to somebody else to perform, you know, particularly because you may hear it a certain way in your head?
Yeah, there is that. Certainly, I mean, when I wrote this, I remember the moment I wrote this, I had come from the car having sung, because most of my ideas come from when I'm completely on my own, not really thinking about anything. I think they'd call it sort of mindfulness now. You need to be sort of emptying your mind of everything else. So these days, sometimes because life's so busy, I go to the library and I sort of snuggle myself in a corner and concentrate there. But I can remember driving along the motorway, and that's where the chorus came in. And I got home, and it was in the days when we didn't have mobile phones with all the gadgets. It was just a little flip phone, and we didn't have a way of communicating from the car to your phone at home. So I had to get home, and I stopped the car, I opened up my phone, I rang my own answer machine at home, and I said, "Don't delete this," and then I quickly sang the chorus.
Wow.
Because I knew the chorus was great, and I really didn't want to lose it. And I didn't have it on a piece of paper, I didn't have it, just had it in my head. So I rang home, recorded it, and then I knew it was on the answer machine and I could relax. I never ever listened to that answer machine message because I immediately started writing. And sometimes you get songs that just come really, really quickly, and other times they take a bit longer. And I remember with this one, I had the words, oh yeah, the little power.
Yes.
And I remember speaking to my ex-husband at the time, and he said, "Why are you getting this power thing?" I don't know about that. I'm not sure about that. And I was like, but that's my favourite bit. I love that. Power. And it's really groovy. And so I sort of thought, no, I really like that. So there comes a point when I have to get the music down to something on that's readable, transferable, etc. And I don't have the skills to do that. So my ex at the time, he would write these melodies out, and then we'd sit side by side and go through lots and lots of different chords.
Right.
Of course, in my head, I'd have the chord, but I couldn't name it.
Wow.
I would just know if it was a sort of brighter chord or a more chord, and he would be able to see from my expression if it needed to sort of go brighter or cooler or the way. And sometimes there'd be times when I'd say, oh no, it needs to be more like this or that or whatever, and it's an incredible thing. We'd pass it on to Craig, who'd put it together and shape it, put the backing tracks on it, and just bring it alive. So it's a real team effort. Once it starts to blossom, it just goes. And then of course people do it themselves however they like, and I don't mind however people do it. I'm not anxious that they're going to do it not the way it's supposed to be. I think it has to be from how you experience it and how you feel about it. It just has to come from you. So,
and do you know, I really feel like the power bit is one of everybody's favorite bit of it. You know what it's like? It's almost like a superhero feeling, that power thing. And so spot on for keeping it in there, you know what I mean? Now the other thing is I love music, but I also love words, and so lyrics are really important to me. And I have to tell you that singing the lyrics to Power in Me makes me want to belt it out because it's so sort of inspirational. My favorite couple of lines are, nobody's going to hold me back, nobody's going to silence my words, nobody's going to close my mind, I've got the power in me. That's some powerful stuff going on there. You know, did that come from a place where that was something you were feeling, or you were feeling like you wanted to give to the world, as it were?
I think anybody that knows me will know that there's a little bit of me in every song I write, even if it's about lemurs or spider monkeys or whatever I write about. There'll be some little line that has something about me in it. And I think working with children a lot, you can see children who are really anxious about life and don't feel empowered. And it's really, really sad to see that. And anything that any teacher can do to enable a child to become the best they can be is amazing. And whether it comes through words or art or dance, or by being incredible at reading or writing or maths or whatever that is, if a teacher can find that little nugget and help it burst into life, then that's the wonderful thing. And I think music can do that, and words in music helps us feel things. It unlocks those emotions. So the words are important, and I think helping children to find their internal power. It's no good relying on everybody else to make you feel something. You have to find it within yourself. That doesn't mean to say that we mustn't go around enabling that from other people and trying to give them the strength to find their power within them. I think that's what that other verse is about. You know, when someone's needing help, you've got to do something about it for them to enable themselves. And I think the world is a better place when we all start doing that.
And you know, the thing is I know that it's written with children in mind, but I really feel like it is an anthem no matter how old you are. You know, we all have issues and we all have struggles. And a lot of the time when we do kind of find the strength to find the power inside us, that is when we feel we can kind of carry on and do something about it, or change our lives, or just carry on another day. So I feel like it's a universal song. I don't even feel like it's just about children finding the power inside of themselves, you know?
You're absolutely right. And every child grows up to be an adult and a grandma, and it's the same. It's the whole way through. And music for centuries historically has been at the core of enabling people to do something. So you think of the sailors on the ships hauling in the ropes.
Right.
They sang. They weren't being shouted at and saying, pull, pull. It's more like, let's just feel something together, because together we're more powerful. So music is so important. And I think we are all music teachers. We fly our banners, and the arts are incredibly important for people's spiritual and emotional welfare.
Love that. And of course, Three Young Voices, The Power in Me, has become an international hit with school choirs. You know, I'm sure you've seen it being performed quite a few times now, with thousands of kids belting out this anthem. How does that feel for you when you see that at Young Voices?
It is quite overwhelming, and I think you feel a little bit numb, to be honest. There's a sort of numbness. It's too much to take in sometimes, and so, to be very honest, sometimes the most emotional bit I get is when I perhaps are looking online and I find some child sitting in their room, jumping on their bed, singing with their teddies, and I think nobody's asked them to do that. Nobody's cajoled them into it. Nobody's asked them to turn up that day and do it. It's because they really wanted to. But usually that comes from having such an amazing experience like Young Voices. So because they've been in that, they want to recreate that feeling, and that's again empowering them to feel like that. And I think you see that from all the teachers that come along to Young Voices and the big events that you do. They are having a ball and having such a brilliant time that then they infuse that to the children themselves, and it's a roller coaster of excitement. So I think it is wonderful to see, and it's such a spectacle. But I think if you're on your own and you're singing it to yourself, as all these children will be doing on our special day when we're singing globally, it matters just you on your own, in your room, singing to the world. That's what's important. And it's how it makes you feel at the end of it. My favourite bit, I don't know if it's the same from anybody else, but oh my goodness, when my children sing it at school, there's a part where the key changes and it kind of just lifts. And then the children at school will go into what's called, I kind of call it, not your fifth gear, not your sixth gear, it's your infinity gear. And they just go for it. They probably sing a bit loud, but they just go for it so much. And I get goose pimples up my arm. And I don't think they've ever sung it without me feeling that. This wave of emotion comes out of them. And I really hope on the day that those children feel it, even though they're not with other people, that they feel this power coming from the whole world at that time. So.
Well, get your goosebumps ready.
I will.
Honestly, because Young Voices is putting out a global call to get people singing The Power in Me, to thank teachers, and not just teachers. We have to remember the homeschooling mums and dads too, right? Because not everybody's, got the privilege of having the teachers coming into their homes via the internet teaching. And sometimes it's just mum and dad doing the schoolwork. And so, Young Voices putting out this global call to sing along to The Power in Me on June 2020. So you better get your goosebumps ready, because I feel like, now that Young Voices is saying it doesn't really matter whether you participated in Young Voices before, you just have to be willing to sing at home, whether you're doing that on your doorstep, whether you're doing that on the balcony, whether you're doing that in your front room. And also, when you talk about sort of by yourself, families getting together, mum and dad joining in, older sisters and brothers joining in, that is kind of really what the call is about, is let's get globally singing The Power in Me wherever you are. It's very exciting. Will you be singing along at home to The Power in Me on June 2nd, 2020?
In fact, I think I'm at school with some of the children that we've got in school. So at 2:30, I'll be tuning in with them, and we'll be jumping up and down, keeping a social distance.
Of course.
And we will be singing our socks off.
Well, it's very exciting. I'm very much looking forward to that. Of course, I will be joining in and singing along. Thanks so much for sort of spending some time with Young Voices at home today, telling us about your brilliant song, telling us about your brilliant process of writing songs and composing, and actually really inspiring. You don't necessarily have to be, gifted at writing music. You just have to be able to write it. If you hear a melody in your head, if you have words in your head, write it down and get somebody else to help you compose it. I love that. So thank you for watching YV at Home, whether you're in the UK, you're in Europe, the US, the Caribbean, in Africa, South America, wherever you are in the world. Make sure you head over to the Young Voices website right now. Go to www.youngvoices.co.uk/Power in Me and sign up to join the rest of the world on June 2nd at 2:30 p.m. your local time to sing out loud to The Power in Me. Be a part of the world's largest children's choir at home and join us in saying thank you to our unsung heroes, the teachers and all the mums and dads at home who are homeschooling. And remember, I've got the power in me and you've got the power in you.